8th April, 1950. Last night, Maharshi felt too weak to walk to the bathroom. A commode was brought in for him, and he is using it. For 3 nights, he has been suffering from severe headaches, which the attendants relieve by pressing hard on the head. It is reported to be due to the abnormally low blood pressure. 9th April, 1950. Anxiety and grief are stamped on every face after evening darshan. Maharshi is very listless, almost lifeless, and troubled by the headaches and hiccups and extreme exhaustion. The Kaviraj's son arrived today. He looked very young, raw, and thoroughly incompetent to deal with a serious case like this. At 7 p.m., he gave medicine to Sri Maharshi, but at 8:30, Dr. Shankar Rao reported severe headache, pulse rate of 100, and systolic blood pressure 76. A conference was held between the doctors, the new Kaviraj, and the chief minister of Madras, a bank manager devotee, and 1 or 2 others. I hear the following conversation. Yes, do something, but give no internal medicine. I do not know. I am not a medical man, but give no internal medicine, said the doctor. And the bank manager said, let the Kaviraj go on with his preparation, and we'll see. And Dr. Rao, appearing worried, said, yes, all right, let the Kaviraj prepare the external application. And Kaviraj said, it will take 1 hour to prepare, but if you have anything to give in the meantime, you may give it. And the bank manager said, yes, while he prepares it, if you, doctor, have anything to give, do give it. And Dr. Rao, appearing to think very hard, said, no, let him prepare the external application. And then Dr. Rao walked away. Devotees have the premonition that tonight is a night of extreme crisis for Sri Bhagavan. One by one they came, men and women, about 70 of them, and squatted on the east veranda of the hall in pin-drop silence and in pitch darkness, listening to Maharshi's hiccups and whispering to the attendants. At about 10:30 p.m., the Sarvadakari, coming out of his office and seeing the shadowy congregation, suspected the presence of lady devotees as well. He raised his voice in their direction and told them, now rise, all of you, and go home, please. After some hesitation, all rose and quietly dispersed. 10th April, 1950. At a conference held at 3:30 in the morning, it was decided to give up the Kaviraj and revert to allopathic medicine. Telephone calls went to devotee doctors in Madras to come immediately with heart specialists. Sri Maharshi is so weak today that he is unable to make even 3 steps to the commode in the room, nor use the bedpan. He tells the attendants, I do not want to eat or drink, so that I may not need to use the commode. If I take only a little nourishment, it will dry up inside, and I'll not need to rise every now and then. Besides, if I take more than 2 ounces, I feel as if I have taken a big meal. No, I can't use a bedpan. His awareness is absolutely undimmed. Darshan was not permitted this morning, and when the Maharshi noticed it at 9 o'clock, he inquired into the reason why the curtains were not rolled up to permit people to see him, but did not press the matter further. I later learned that he had taken the authorities to task for having disappointed devotees from having darshan, with the result that in the evening it was allowed at the usual hour, 5 to 6, for the 1,000 devotees at least who had gathered for it. Many disciples have been here, away from their homes for many weeks, knowing it to be their last chance of being in the company of their beloved master. The darshan queues, one for women and one for men, have to be controlled by dozens of volunteers from the ashram who keep devotees almost on the run to give chance to all to have a glimpse of the Maharshi and make a quick bow to him within the prescribed time. I counted this evening 17 to 20 persons passing his door per minute. This darshan is no doubt a very great strain on the Maharshi, who in his infinite compassion keeps his face constantly turned towards the devotees the whole time the darshan lasts. His couch has east-west position, and the door through which he looks at the devotees faces south, so that for 1 full hour he keeps his head turned in that direction and strains his neck. In his present state of health, the strain on him must be great, yet he refuses to stop the darshan, or even reduce it to once a day. His nourishment consisted today of a little fruit juice, some tomato juice, and coconut water. 12th April, 1950. 10:30 a.m. It looks as if we are on the eve of doomsday, the eve of a day on which we are destined to be deprived of everything we hold worth living for, our refuge, our hopes, our greatest treasure, the precious life of the Master. Today he is stretched full length on the sofa, with hollow eyes, sunken cheeks, pale, waxy skin, and drained of vitality. 3 attendants are massaging hard his legs. The upper half of the body is exceedingly sensitive and cannot be touched without causing him severe pain. During the half-hour running darshan at 9 a.m., he could only at times turn his face to the devotees, but mostly he is listless. Doctors stopped testing and examining him and strictly forbade all access to his room. Everybody gave up hopes except the astrological fans who pinned their faith to charlatan maps and diagrams and prophecies. The 2 top men in authority continue to wrangle with the doctors that Maharshi is curable provided the young Kaviraj, who is still kept here, is allowed to treat him, an argument which the doctors justly treat with contempt. Still, these 2 headstrong men would have overridden the doctor's advice and continued to harass Maharshi's unwilling throat with useless drugs, but for the overwhelming opposition which rose from very influential quarters against their stupidity. Women are weeping, men are dejected, and brood in silence, for all feel this is to be the last day. Maharshi is still conscious and at times speaks, but till the last he asks for nothing, expresses no opinion on what should or should not be done for him, complains of no pain, except when lifted or touched in a painful spot. Then and only then, as if to give a piece of information, he remarks, "There is not a spot which is not painful to the touch." Then the attendants take the hint and use greater care in handling him, especially today when the pain is so severe. As a rule, the Maharshi, however ill he may be, never lies down when he gives darshan. On each of the 2 big operation days, in August and December, he reclined on cushions, but today, out of excessive weakness, he lay fully stretched. At 8 p.m., Maharshi's temperature was 96, his pulse was rapid and thready, his blood pressure was 68/36, head heavy and aching, violent pain in the legs and thighs. When he was offered congee porridge in the morning, he remarked, "Why all this congee? Give me buttermilk," which they did morning and evening. He has taken also water off and on. Since some days he has been saying that dieting has spoilt his appetite and upset his digestion. It all started with a homeopath who thoughtlessly restricted this, that and the other item of diet to which he had been accustomed, and substituted it by his own in a vain fad. Next came the other homeopath who not only made more restrictions but also gave medicines which are far from being conducive to appetite. Then followed the Kaviraj with still narrower diet and more potent medicines, frequently repeated. Sri Bhagavan remarked, "From the beginning I said there was no need for all this, but who listens to me? Now my stomach is so upset that it cannot retain anything, nor have I appetite for any food. My taste is spoilt, my tongue has lost its sensitiveness, and I am forced to eat and drink. How can I do it?" This morning a relative of his went in to see him. With all his ailments, Sri Bhagavan remembered that it was his, the relative's father's, death anniversary, for which he asked the visitor, "Have you performed the Shraddha ceremony today?" And he named some people, which shows that he was not only clear in his mind, but also retained a very clear memory. When after dinner one of the attendants came in to take his turn, Bhagavan asked him, "Have you had your dinner?" Evening darshan was also half an hour run at the rate of about 30 persons per minute. It was again followed by the same dejection and anxiety as in the morning. Dr. Shankar Rao later told me, "There is no fear for tonight, for Bhagavan's body is not behaving in the way other bodies behave in similar circumstances. When we give it up, it continues to live. No man with blood pressure below 80/50 has the chance of living long, and Sri Bhagavan's body has been below 80 for more than 10 days, and today it is 68/36, highly abnormal. So we can't say how it will go." At 10:15 p.m., the headache was extremely severe. The attendants pressed and vigorously massaged the head and the legs.